This message is brought to you by Deadpool.
The TVA has gone through a bit of a reorg. So, let me introduce you to your new co-worker. Uh-oh, here we go.
My eyes are over here. There you go. Self-permission. Surrender to
Not
it.
again.
Slide into my DM.
Sorry.
That's right. Just lose ourselves in tangled sheets and bodies. We'll ignore each other at work for 4 or 5 days, and then we'll come back hungry.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel and Ryan Reynolds have been releasing all kinds of Deadpool and Wolverine funny promos that don't necessarily have a ton to do with the actual plot of the movie. They're just funny cameo scenes and jokes on Marvel, Disney, Kevin Feige, Hugh Jackman, and Ryan Reynolds just taking the piss out of each other. They literally just posted a clip of them actually making fun of Spider-Man Tom Holland.
And trying to look like a superhero and move like an even younger Tom Holland. I'm aiming to move like Tom Hollander, who's a little bit older.
Now we have Miss Minutes and Deadpool clowning on each other at the TVA. They're a big part of the movie as we've seen in the previous trailers, so I know there's all kinds of Loki questions and how this connects with the events of Loki Season 2, which TVA characters are coming back, so we'll break it all down. And we're in the middle of that Deadpool and Wolverine ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post all your favorite Deadpool and Wolverine jokes so far in the comments. This is just the beginning. They'll be posting funny promos like this until the movie comes out. Like we just got that Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket joke. I'll do a video about that tomorrow because it's like a whole separate thing, and you can actually buy it for real. This Deadpool and Wolverine promo is part of a tie-in with the new Marvel What If VR game narrative. Marvel basically created a whole new episode of the What If series that you experience. During that, you have to go around assembling all the Infinity Stones to prevent Thanos from doing it. And while that's happening, all the other Marvel characters help you along the way. Deadpool kind of he doesn't really help you out here because he's not that helpful because he's Deadpool. They use it mostly for a lot of jokes and a lot of crossover, but you kind of get the idea. Right before Deadpool shows up, the Watcher takes you to Miss Minutes at the TVA, and she basically explains that they're about to prune your entire timeline because things have gotten so borked with the Infinity Stones.
Continuity errors, like you, are popping up all over the place.
What are you going to do to them?
Well, pruning this branch and being done with it is the right way to do things.
But they give you a chance to work with a quote-unquote partner who is Agent Deadpool here, like TVA Agent Deadpool, to clean things up and fix everything so they don't have to prune your timeline. The way they play the crossover cameo scene, the Deadpool stuff looks like it's taken somewhat out of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, like they clipped part of a Deadpool scene and worked it into this Miss Minutes narrative. Notice how the Watcher and Miss Minutes react when Deadpool shows up, like zoom and enhance in the background. He can't stand Deadpool, mortified beyond belief, if it were possible for the Watcher to actually get embarrassed. That's kind of his job, to watch stuff like this happen all the time. You notice Miss Minutes is also apologizing for Deadpool's shenanigans too. You kind of have to play the clip a couple times to hear what he's actually saying in the background, but he looks like he just finished his suit-up montage, getting his new suit, the adamantium swords, his new guns at the TVA armory. They are meant to be adamantium swords. That's how he can block Wolverine's strikes with his adamantium claws. He does a flip on the TVA walkway here as he's walking towards Matthew McFadden's Paradox character standing in front of all these monitors depicting different timelines with a bunch of different Easter eggs for other Marvel movies, moments from Deadpool's past and future. There's so many jokes going on in the background here. Like, they just want to focus on all the Deadpool sex jokes, but there's like 20 different jokes also going on at the same time. In the way they played this, they actually might have had Ryan Reynolds record some new jokes and dialogue for this Miss Minutes joke here. Like, this sounds like it's new dialogue they worked into this scene from Deadpool and Wolverine. If you've never seen Ryan Reynolds behind the scenes of Deadpool movies, like the first Deadpool movie, second Deadpool movie, he records tons and tons of alternate takes for all the jokes, especially the ones when he has his mask on, because it's way easier to swap the jokes out of the fly.
This film is as paper thin as a sequel to Battlefield Earth. We're mostly going to beat each other senseless, make enemies with Disney, tell a few dick jokes, make a few jokes at my expense, make a lot of jokes at Hugh's expense, and completely sidestep Marvel's mandated after-credit sequence, which, if you haven't figured it out yet, is always just a commercial for another movie, which will invariably end with a commercial for another movie.
In this scene, the way it actually happens in the movie itself, like the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, it appears during that opening 9 minutes of the film they released at CinemaCon. I'll explain what actually happens in the movie after this scene in a second. But notice that while Deadpool is going on and on here with all of his sex jokes, Miss Minutes apologizes, saying, "Not again," as in this has happened to them multiple times at the TVA. Deadpool has done this multiple times so far. Now, the actual Deadpool and Wolverine movie is only going to be a little over 2 hours long, like it's not going to be a 4-hour movie. But in context, Deadpool being there for much longer than it actually seems makes sense just because of the way time moves at the TVA. It exists in a little pocket dimension outside of all timelines in the multiverse, so it's protected from changes to all the timelines. It's one of the main reasons why the Infinity Stones from any universe don't work inside the TVA, because they only work inside their universe. This is also the way they explain why the Council of Kangs hasn't been wiped already as of the events of Loki Season 2. Why God Loki just didn't erase the Council of Kangs the minute he came into his full power and became the custodian of the multiverse. Because the Council of Kangs here, like the actual facility, exists in a little pocket dimension just like the way the TVA exists outside of all the timelines, and God Loki can only control stuff inside all the timelines. For those of you asking, big follow-up question, is Loki going to have a cameo scene during this? I don't expect God Loki, or like the official God Loki from the end of Season 2, to have a cameo during Deadpool and Wolverine, but I do think there will be lots of Loki references and Easter eggs. I don't think we'd see God Loki show up again either until the events of Thor 5, because apparently that's turning into like a much bigger movie now, like a way more serious movie that doesn't involve Taika Waititi. I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans out there that'll be happy to hear that he's not coming back to do Thor 5. In eventually Avengers 6 Secret Wars, because it sounds like they've changed Avengers 5. It's more of a grounded movie, so I don't expect Loki to show up a lot during Avengers 5. But after this scene in that 9-minute long CinemaCon trailer, 2 other TVA hunters that are there joke that the Sacred Timeline needs to be avenged because the Sacred Timeline technically doesn't exist anymore after the events of Loki, a reference to Iron Man's line in the first Avengers movie.
Maybe your army comes, and maybe it's too much for us, but it's all on you. Because if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn well sure we'll avenge it.
The hunters continue joking that they're going to marvel, quote-unquote, at how cinematic this is going to be, making more MCU references. Deadpool calls out a bunch of movie tropes, breaking the fourth wall again, saying to Paradox that he wants to have all the cameos he can get, all the craziest variants, the works, if he's going to help them. They turn on all the screens with the footage from the different Marvel movies you see, but they start with the footage of Steve Rogers' Captain America during the events of Winter Soldier, and it turns out Deadpool knows who he is and salutes him, raising so many questions like, is there a version of Steve Rogers' Captain America in the X-Men universe? How does he know Steve Rogers' Captain America? My assumption without more context or more footage is it's just a joke, like a wink, at Chris Evans also being the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four movies, which would take place in the Fox X-Men universe. Paradox keeps blowing smoke up his butt, telling him he can be a hero now, then suddenly on one of the screens, Deadpool sees a totally new scene with Chris Hemsworth's Thor in a new cameo, cradling Deadpool's body as if he's died crying over him, confirming Chris Hemsworth cameo scene. Deadpool asks Paradox why Thor is crying over his body, and he says that something happens to Deadpool in the future. He wasn't supposed to see that, but he's kind of vague about exactly what goes down that causes him to become great friends with Thor and also causes him to die. My assumption now is that just a bit of a meta wink at Secret Wars, like everybody's coming for cameos, everybody will be crossing over with everybody else in Secret Wars. Also because Deadpool is technically coming to the MCU now because Disney owns Fox. Deadpool makes all the Marvel Jesus jokes, saying that he will help the TVA, then immediately breaks the fourth wall, turns the camera, grabs the camera, starts shaking the frame, so like the whole frame is shaking, saying, "Suck it, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland," and then starts humping the boom mic. Because he sort of breaks the bounds of his movie, it's probably one of the biggest fourth wall breaks that Deadpool has ever done. It's on par with She-Hulk breaking the fifth wall, pausing her show, then jumping out through the Disney Plus frame and going to the Marvel Studios lot, interacting with the writers of her show, and then the Kevin Feige AI robot. The big difference between fourth wall breaks and fifth wall breaks is when a character actually talks directly to the writers of a show, not just the audience. Then he comes back to the reality of the movie, and Deadpool tells Paradox there's one more thing that he needs and goes to the tailor for the big suit-up scene that we see in the trailer. They give him a much better upgraded suit, upgraded weapons, the new katanas, Bee and Arthur, and the new handguns. He leaves the tailor telling one of the nearby TVA agents that his katanas are adamantium now, like Wolverine's skeleton in his claws, and that the tailor is a sexual predator because he was grabbing him all over the place. That's also meant to be a bit of a Disney joke, like the white gloves, Mickey Mouse's white gloves grabbing Deadpool because they own all the Fox characters. Now they own Deadpool. One of the other TVA agents starts eyeballing him. He says that his suit is getting tighter just because he's getting way more horny, like he's starting to get a huge boner, to which the TVA agent starts picking up the phone, about to call the TVA HR department. I didn't know they actually had an HR department in the TVA, but I guess they would. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. If you noticed any other Easter eggs or references in the brand new footage that I didn't talk about in this video, just write it below in the comments. Like I said, there'll be a bunch of funny promos for the movie with them just taking the piss out of each other, like Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool and Wolverine, that don't necessarily have a lot to do with the movie, that sometimes are actually better at promoting the movie than just full-on trailers themselves.
Hopefully we don't do a Deadpool 8 because I don't want 8 kids. Yeah.
Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do videos for it. They released that Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket clip too. I'll do a video for that tomorrow at some point just because it is hilarious. If it is actually possible, I'll try to give some copies of the popcorn bucket away too. No questions or judgment as to how you use the popcorn bucket.
I love the popcorn buckets that are taking over the world. I really do. I love when a popcorn bucket can capture the zeitgeist and go viral.
Congratulations, The Dark Link. You're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel on desktop so I can get your contact details. Everybody click here for that popcorn bucket video and click here for all my other Deadpool and Wolverine videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one in maximum effort.